Hello, this is Jacob from KAYHAN Audio, and today I'm going to be going through our BABF/SY territory head unit we have available from top to bottom. So I'm going to show you guys what we have in the kit, what's provided, and of course how the installation goes as well. So as you can see, this head unit incorporates all the plugins in the back, has one main power harness input here, and your fuse is located right here. Now, with your kit, you're going to receive the wiring harness, the accessories, basically everything you will need to get this working and fit it in the car. I'm going to go through these one by one with you right now and show you exactly where these actually plug onto the back of the head unit too, so you can't miss out on those as well. First things first, just right off the bat, we have the main power harness. So on the main power harness, we're just going to untie this open for you. So on the main power harness, we have multiple connections. So this connection right here is the one we want most customer inquiries are about. This connection right here is for your external AC controller. If you do not have the external AC controller accessory purchased, simply tape this 5-pin out plug, tape it up, and make sure it's not touching anything. So once you disregard the external AC controller plug, if you have the accessory or you don't have the accessory, we can have a look at the next set of plugs, which are these two right here. As you can see, these two are what I like to call our CAN bus plug-ins. So right here, we want to make sure when installing this head unit, you plug the correct corresponding side very thoroughly, and you hear that little click at the end. Making sure you hear that click, that means it's confirmed, it's locked into place, and there's no way of it getting loose throughout your drive, and you won't have any AC control issues, because majority of the time, AC control issues with our head unit is because the pins and plugs aren't connected appropriately like that. That is the main power harness. This side will just go to the factory main port of the vehicle. This right here is your RCA cables. Now with these RCA cables, we also have a SIM card slot attached right here to it. As you can see with this RCA cable, this is the SIM card slot right here. Simply slide to open, push it open, place your SIM card in there, lock it in place, and simply reset the unit to register the SIM card to the new unit. And this RCA plugin will simply require, now we do understand it sometimes may require some pressure in order to place this in. So due to that pressure, that is just to make sure, the reason why we've made it so secure and tough to place in is because we don't want this coming out whatsoever. Due to the fact that you're going to have speakers, roof mount DVD players, and all those connections wired up here, it's going to be quite a sturdy connection required to make sure there's it doesn't get loose, doesn't cause any disconnections, doesn't cause any issues or any bugs whatsoever. However, we provide you with a version 3 very flat surround sound cancelling microphone with the head unit already. This provides you with a quite clear volume and microphone quality to make your calls throughout your drives, and it can be wired up to wherever you're comfortable. I'll show you the recommended and comfortable spots on the car itself in a moment. On the bottom right port, top right port, right here. Again, you want to just make sure you hear that clip in, and that's all clipped in, that's ready to go. Aftermarket reversing camera plug right here. So this aftermarket reversing camera plug is compatible with almost any aftermarket reversing camera, as we provide the display quality and display conversion options on the screen itself. So this plug-in will go to the bottom right port right here. Now once this plug-in is there, you just simply tap your reversing camera in, as simple as that. And once your reversing camera is plugged in, you simply need the reverse trigger, which is right here on the main power harness. The cable clearly labeled reverse right there. I also, on the main power harness, I want you to disregard these two cables right here, key 1 and key 2. And as I said prior, this head unit comes with 3 USB ports. We provide you with all the USB ports with the head unit. You have a 4-pin and a 6-pin USB port output. This is the 6-pin one. The 6-pin input obviously goes right next to the aftermarket reversing camera input. Let's just plug this up, easy and ready to go. Now that is all done. Now we have had a lot of inquiries and questions. Can we wire up more USBs? Can we cut these and splice these and add more if we have other head units lying around, things like that? Sadly, you cannot. If you do attempt any manual wiring on these USB cables, things along those lines, we cannot assure you that it will work, first of all, and second of all, it might cause power issues, drainage issues, things along those lines. So do be sure to keep the remaining 3 USBs we provide you with, and if you'd like more connections, simply inquire about a USB hub from your local Officeworks or us in general. But yep, that is the USB options. You get quite a lengthy, I'd say 45 centimeters right here, so you can wire that up to your passenger side glove box, where I'll be showing you guys we place it, or you can leave it wherever you're comfortable under the head units. Now with the factory one, what we recommend doing is we have it all wired up and ready to go. You can place the factory one right in this port right here. Now it will require quite a bit of pressure and force, so do be sure of that, but you can have that right there and appearing at the bottom of the head unit at all times, just like that. So that is majority of the plugs plugged up. The last 3 plugs that we need to last 4 plugs we need to stress about are the 4G antenna right here. Not really a plug, it just goes to the 4G slot right here, clearly labeled 4G. So let's plug that up. The next connection we have right here is the GPS antenna. We're gonna screw that on, as simple as that. But right here is your Wi-Fi antenna. Now the main thing with the Wi-Fi antenna is we want to make sure after we have the Wi-Fi antenna plugged up, we remove this cap right here. That will expose the actual antenna and give it a much stronger and better signal to connect to hotspots and Wi-Fi connections. So do be sure to remove the cap after install. That will help you and everyone else out when they're connecting to the internet for you. Now I'm going to be honest with you guys, I have personally no installation experience whatsoever. I am one of the sales team members here at KAYHAN Audio, meaning anyone can do this installation. So if you will just pay attention and follow what I do, you'll be able to do this install within 2 to 3 hours, no problem. Finally, the reason why I wanted to leave the main power harness for last is because the amount of plugs it has, just so I can clearly go through these for you and show you what they each do individually. So obviously the main plug is right here, the main power harness. We want to make sure we plug that up upwards, and you want to hear the click. Just like that, perfect. Now as I said, you have the sub plug right here, and the lucky last port on the bottom left. As you can see, we have 1 extra port here. This is your CAN bus. This is your CAN bus plug in. You want to make sure this CAN bus plug in is connected to the bottom left port very sturdily, and it has a proper connection, and you do tug on it a little bit, just a little bit, to make sure it's not coming loose, it's not coming out, because as I said prior, this CAN bus is what controls all your air conditioning controls, steering wheel controls, basically all the car codes in general are running through this, and if this plug is not plugged up to the back of the unit appropriately, that's when customers will come across a lot of issues with their steering wheel controls, their factory reversing camera, along with air conditioning, single zone or dual zone. Now let's plug this up, no problem. And the last plug that is for the panel button. So as you can see, these buttons right here at the bottom of the fascia, the last plug for that is in the main power harness as well. So if those buttons aren't working for you once you install, you want to just make sure this little plug-in right here is plugged up appropriately to this port right there. And you need to just tug on it a little bit again just to make sure it works. We provide you with a nice little foam stable ground to do all this on, so make sure you place the unit on something nice and soft so you don't scratch or damage anything. We don't cover scratches and damages done by installation, so do be wary of that. And yeah, that, as you can see now, we have everything plugged up to the back. The only thing left for this head unit, I'd say, is obviously the BCM. We're going to be attaching via this mount right here at the bottom of the head unit. So we're going to place this mount at the bottom of the head unit just like so, and we're going to put the BCM mount there, so the BCM there, so we can plug up all the BCM plugs at the bottom, ECU plugs and BCM plugs at the bottom of this mount. Other than that, you just have your radio, the radio antenna. Now this radio antenna plug-in, do not stress, that doesn't come with our kit. Your factory radio antenna that's in your factory head unit right now will come out and go into our new head unit. But without any further ado, I have everything, all the wires, all the USBs, the microphone, the main power harness, everything plugged up. I'm gonna go take this to our car and get installing. First thing you want to do before doing anything with your installation, beginning, starting, nothing like that, is the simplest thing. Remove the key. place it on top. Do not let it get decoded, because if you leave the key in there while doing this installation, your key off in your car to keep beeping. You want to make sure you take the sensor trigger, which I believe is one of the plugs on the left hand side, which need to come out first, then the last plug on the right. Make sure you remove it about, I'd say, this distance out of the car, not too far, just so we have time to detach all the plugs in the back and not damage them. And pull. That is just simply the stickers at the top of the unit, not plastic, don't stress. Well, plugs, because some of these units have the extra plugs, because this one is a Alrighty, now congratulations buddy, you have just finally completed your full installation, you've got the unit in, everything's looking right as rain, except you're coming across one issue, and that is your air conditioning controls are not working. That just simply needs to be set up. So once you have our unit in your vehicle, you just need to make sure you set it up to the correct climate zone, which is single or dual to the appropriate one. So what we're going to do is firstly tap home on the bottom right on this BABF. We're going to swipe to the left, or if we're already on the left here, we're going to tap car settings, green and white app called car settings right there. Tap car settings down the bottom again, just right here. And then we have a dual zone Ford territory with premium sound, so we go Ford Falcon BABF territory SY/SX dual zone. And once we select that, our air conditioning controls, as you can hear, are live, beaming, ready to go. And we can dial them down, dial them up, change our mode, change how we like it, all that. And let's just confirm that the door sensors are correct. Sometimes door sensors can come up as the wrong sides, and that can be fixed via settings as well, so kindly don't stress about that. But as you can see, this is the head unit installed, ready to go in a SY territory piano black gorgeous trim. And yes, if you guys have any further questions about the product or the external AC controller we have down here, feel free to let us know.